Hello and welcome to the program Improve Seeds Oil of Agricultural Television. The Ministry of Environment, in collaboration with International Labour Organization and TIER-Fund, organized a one-day event in development of a national digital repository for waste pickers in Nigeria. And our focus will be on the importance of these waste products to our farmers. I am Hilda Homsem Fantuam. Stay tuned. Generally, agricultural waste is classified into four types. We have the crop waste, that is the rice hull, the wheat straw, sugarcane baggage, the animal waste, that is the animal excreta or the dead animals, processing waste, that is the packaging materials or fertilizer cans, and hazardous waste, that is the pesticides and the insecticides. We'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll discuss the importance and the ways of producing waste to the soil and the plants and much more. Agricultural waste can be used to enhance food security, mainly through use as biofertilizer and soil amendment. It can be used as animal feed. They contain large amounts of organic matter, and many of them can be directly added to the soil without any risks. Why do farmers need waste for agricultural production? Some of these agricultural solid waste could be used as additive in cement mix, water glass manufacturing, paper making, animal feeds, electricity, and biogas generation. Importance of management of agricultural waste. Management refers to all the coordination, handling and controlling of this waste generated from agricultural activities. The primary goal is to prevent soil and water pollution, greenhouse gas emission, and health risks for humans and animals. Helps in achieving groups' goals. Of course, effective management gives a common direction to individuals' efforts and guides them towards achieving the overall goals of an organization. It increases efficiency, that is, it reduces costs and increases productivity in all spheres of an organization's work. What are the top agricultural wastes? Earlier on said, we have the rice straw, the corn cobs, we have leaves, stalks, coconut milk or the corn dust, we have sugarcane or sugarcane tops. Which is the most harmful component of agricultural waste? We have the leftover pesticides, which are the most harmful components of agricultural waste. It not only kills harmful organisms, but also kills helpful microorganisms. The pesticides contaminate soil and water and enters into our food chain. What is the difference between industrial waste and of course agricultural waste? The industrial waste is the waste that produced during manufacturing from industries such as mills, mining, factories. Most of the agricultural waste is biodegradable and is recyclable, whereas industrial waste is highly harmful to health and environment if not treated properly. How agricultural waste can be managed through several methods. It includes composting, recycling into bioenergy, and converting it into animal feeds or organic fertilizers. Proper disposal or reuse of agricultural waste help reduce environmental impacts and promote sustainability. How can agricultural waste be disposed compost. Composting is an effective solution for managing plant residues, trimming, manure and other agricultural products with the compost into nutrient-rich compost. The best part is that it can be practiced in small scale and of course large scale. That is, from our home gardens to small farms and of course to large agricultural organizations. What are the methods of disposal of waste? We just named but a few methods of this disposal. We have the landfill, the incineration, waste compaction, composing, decomposing, and of course, how does waste affect quality of soil? Solid waste contain various complex characteristics with organic fractions of the highest proportions. As lectures percolates into the soil, it migrates, it contaminates into the soil and affects soil stability and strength. Solid wastes are a source of toxic metals, hazardous waste, and chemicals. And of course, there are three negative impacts on this soil. In addition to erosion, soil quality is affected by other aspects of agriculture. This also impacts compaction and loss of soil structure, nutrient degradation, and soil salinity. These are very real. At times, they create severe issues. The effect of soil erosion goes beyond the loss of fertile land. The effect on soil waste, human. Compost due to soft soil can cause a variety of short-term health problems such as headache, coughing, chest pain, nausea, skin or eye irritation. Prolonged exposure to contaminated soil can lead to the central nervous system and damage to vital organisms, organs such as the liver. Solution of the waste on the soil. By effectively managing waste through waste reduction, recycling, and responsible disposal practices, the state can mitigate air and water pollution. It can also reduce soil contamination and minimize the depletion of natural resources. This in turn promotes a healthier environment for residents and safeguards public health. How to reduce waste in the soil? One effective solution is to compost. It is by a biodegradation method in which organic matter such as food scraps and leaves decompose into the soil. This soil could be used for your gardens and farms. Over the years, composting has been widely adopted as an environmentally friendly way to reduce food waste. Which waste management methods contribute to soil fertility? By composting our food scraps and yard trimming instead and using the compost products, we can then return those nutrients and carbon to the soil to improve soil fertility, support plant growth, and build resilience in our local ecosystem and communities. Let's go on a short break. When we return, we'll look at ways of improving the soil. Stay tuned. We have different ways to improve and maintain our farm soil fertility. First, we have to test the soil. We walk your fields and look for visual clues of soil fertility. Get to know your weeds. Dispose the soil as little as possible. Rotate crops. Plant cover crops. Use integrated pest management. Create greater biodiversity. And which of these is best for the waste management? We have recycling is a great means because it converts waste into a new type of usable product through the power of industrial processing. Commonly recycled materials include aluminium, glass, and plastic. It is good for the health of the planet and to reuse waste instead of throwing it into the landfill. Then what are the methods that we farmers can use to maintain that soil after taking all this into cognizance? Soil fertility management practices includes the use of fertilizers, organic inputs, crop rotation, and legumes, and the use of germplasm combined with the knowledge on how to adapt these practices into our local conditions.
Focusing on the rights of children, youth, and also the issue of social inclusion, especially from the perspective of children's rights, women's rights, youth rights, and other issues. I'm really very pleased to be here with you today to make a small remark on this very important occasion. As our representative from the police, you mentioned very important message, as well as from the ILO and the Tier Fund colleagues. If you talk about our society, if we talk about our environment, if we talk about our living conditions, if we talk about climate change, everywhere we go, we see so much of waste lying around us. And until and unless the waste materials are not managed properly, I wanted to use the word managed here. Of course, it involves the entire value chain, starting with the segregation, collection, transportation, processing or refinement, whatever you call it, and safe disposal and reuse. The entire value chain. Until and unless you are able to work on that issue, our health will be impacted, our children's productivity, our youth's productivity, and the whole country's economy will be affected. And unfortunately, as a country, still we are struggling to manage several of the waste. And if you unpack what is the composition of that waste material, bulk of it is really degradable waste. But when the biodegradable waste is mixed up with non-biodegradable waste like plastic, metals, and other scrap items, then it creates a lot of menace. The issue really becomes even the biodegradable waste is also trapped by non-biodegradable waste. That is where the waste problem really starts affecting our health and our children's health and everyone who is living around those areas. And the important theme of the day, really, the waste pickers. When you talk about waste pickers, having database, really having the records of who is involved on what kind of waste picking and which part of the country, until and unless we have those issues with us, until and unless we know who is really involved in those issues, until and unless we know what kind of challenges they are facing, the kind of occupational health hazard they are facing, will not be able to address it. So in that sense, I think that today's meeting is a very important meeting, and I really am happy to be here and also want to appreciate the initiative of the Tier Fund, the Ministry of Environment, and also the partners like ILO who have been supporting this initiative. From UNICEF perspective, again, I wanted to bring that whole issue of the children's right and the youth rights. If we really talk about their rights, these waste pickers, who are the most important part of our this waste management value chain, it starts from them, right? It is about them being able to segregate appropriately, collect it and transport it and take it to the other level of the value chain. Until and unless we can really support them appropriately with appropriate kind of the protective equipments, appropriate kind of knowledge, skills they need, and also even like what needs to be segregated and how. As I said, there are biodegradable items, non-biodegradable items, metal items, and etc. And different, the process our waste pickers would be involved in. It is really critical for us to look at it so that we can also safeguard their rights, we can safeguard their health, we can safeguard their really living conditions while we're really supporting the environmental aspects in the country. So on behalf of UNICEF, I'm really very pleased to be, again, committing from our side. We'd be happy to work with the Ministry of Environment as well as other stakeholders involved in this waste picking and the waste management.
So for us at RAN, we believe that the waste pickers are the legitimate waste pickers are the unsung heroes of this whole recycling and collection waste management sector, the ones that are really legitimate. They're willing to do the work that, honestly, a lot of us are not willing to do. They walk for miles looking for materials, the legitimate ones, of course. And so having this kind of conversation is very essential because not only does it help us to promote SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, as it relates to support of marginalized people, but also with regards to recycling and our collection rates. We've seen it in other countries, other countries and parts of the world where, because they have an informal turn to formal sector, their collection rates have gone up, have increased significantly. And so if we're able to do that here in Nigeria, I think it serves well for everyone. And so for us recyclers who also are quite dependent on the legitimate waste pickers as a source for feedstock, it is very crucial that we support them in any way that we can. And so having this conversation now is very critical. We're excited that the Ministry of Environment, ILO, and Tier Fund have taken on the baton of support. And we pray that we get to the point where we can have this data repository, which again is going to be very crucial. It will be crucial also because we can then use the data that is collected to help with the formalization of some of these informal workers. Training can happen, sharing of information can happen, pro-poor, social inclusion like insurance, bank accounts, all those things can start to happen when we know who's who. And so this national depository would be very crucial and essential to be able to get that done.
This initiative represents a significant stride towards sustainable waste management, social inclusion, and economic empowerment. So waste pickers, often operating at the grassroots level, play an indispensable role in our ecosystem. Their tireless efforts contributes to environmental cleanliness, resource recovery, and reduction of landfill waste. So by creating a digital repository, we recognize their contributions and provide a platform for knowledge sharing and capacity building. In the collaborative efforts of the Federal Ministry of Environment, that of the International Labour Organization, and the Tier Fund in championing this cause. So together we can all amplify the voices of the waste pickers and enhance their livelihood and foster a circular economy. Please permit me to encourage the organizers to actually support the EPR, which is the Extended Producer Responsibility concept. This holds responsible the producers of these non-degradable products that we use. And at the end of the life of all these non-degradable, they become hazardous. They become a problem to the environment. And even our health sector also suffers because public health is also affected. They block our sewages, they block the waterways and everything. They produce mosquitoes, and we all know all the problem that it causes. So this is an initiative that is ongoing, and we'd like to have you also get involved in making sure that we domesticate this extended producer responsibility concept. Because what you produce that is non-degradable, at the end of life, you have to get rid of it. So these funds are already earmarked, most times, already there as it comes in tiers. They're already there. We just need to bring it out and make sure that they are directed towards the right direction. So I would also like to reference the security information from our Garland Police Force representative in regards of these threats, these downstream workers poses in the society. So I would also like to tell you what UTPRON is doing at this time. We're actually partnering with the state government, some other development agencies, and also stakeholders to register. We're creating a database that will actually register all these people, all these speakers, collectors, aggregators that are in the tire sector, so we can have a database. And we'll also work with the police force in order to make sure that this is properly done. So we go to the states, we educate, we train them, we register them properly, and we monitor what they do, and we give advice also. And at the same time, we advocate for them, so that sometimes when they're being victimized or they're being threatened, we can also come on their behalf. So having a database that will actually give information, protect all these people, workers, is a laudable initiative. We would like to thank you for doing this.
Let me here and now that the aim and objective of the digital repository for waste speakers in Nigeria align completely with the overall objective of ongoing national data capture of all waste speakers across Nigeria. WAPAN has made significant strides. We have successfully established a presence in 32 out of 36 states across the country, organizing, uniting of waste speakers community. To date, we have registered about 13,000 members, male and female waste speakers, a number that is continuing growing and is accessible viewing on our website. To ensure gender inclusion, we have about 2,500 female waste speakers who also work at our collection and recycling center, sorting waste material through efforts of waste speakers. About 70% of recyclable waste is taken off landfill, rivers, and waterways bodies. Currently, we are embarking on a nationwide initiative to train waste speakers in sustainable waste management, financial literacy, personal hygiene, public health, and more. Waste speakers play an important role in reducing greenhouse gas erosion, promoting recycling, reduces climate change impact, and safeguarding our environment, while we also generate employment opportunities that contribute achieving and sustainable development goals. We agree with the organizers that waste speakers face significant challenge. Regrettably, they were often to overlook and their contribution undervalued by the government and the society. Instead of recognizing them as environmental stewards, they are perceived as threats. We have witnessed an appealing incident where a waste speaker like the late Habib was chased and killed in a cold blood by security agency here in Abuja. Just last week, the governor of Adamawa State banned all waste speaking activities in the state without consulting WAPAN or any other waste association. Technically, our monthly report documents the loss of 2 to 3 waste speakers, mainly due to inadequate personal protective equipment, PPEs, healthcare access, especially the women waste speakers, from the accident involving dump site operation, vehicle, and dangerous mental, such as mental and glasses. We urgently call upon the Nigerian government, particularly the FCT, Rivers, Lagos, Borno, Kwara, and Adamawa State to acknowledge the invaluable contribution of waste pickers, lift the ban on waste picking activity, and collaboration with WAPAN or any other association, develop a well-structured, formalized, and integrated the waste picking into formal waste management. Furthermore, we appeal on the international organization to elevate and support the dignity of waste pickers by providing training, essential equipment, and resource for their safety and productivity. To elevate the dignity and safety of waste pickers, a reasonable investment of PPEs, training, and medical is required per individual. The cost is unattainable for these individuals. We humbly advocate for the establishment of recycling hubs, centers in each state, Abuja and some zones, as pilot projects where waste pickers can access and operate without fear of eviction or harassment by the authority. We urge stakeholders, led by Nesiria, to implement the extended producer responsibility scheme that will include waste pickers in benefit program to facilitate financial compensation for waste pickers, access microloans, and climate finance as accelerate their entrepreneurial activities. In conclusion, I want to assure the organizers that WAPAN is strong support for the important initiative to dignizing the registration of waste pickers in Nigeria with all the attendant benefits. In this time, the collective action to register, recognize, empower, and protect waste pickers in Nigeria, together we can foster an inclusive, sustainable future where waste pickers are registered and recognized, valued, and indispensable partners in environmental conservation.
This is how we wrap it up on the program Improve 6 on your ARCN television. I am Hilda Hamsen Francois, urging you to watch more of our programs. Let's take good care of our soil for productive inputs. Bye from all of us.